Welcome to the June 1st, 2020 meeting. Elizabeth Township Board of Commissioners. Would you all please rise for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States
of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty,
and justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you. Start with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Rocco,
Present.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Here.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Here.
Commissioner Algieri,
Here.
Commissioner Roderick,
Here.
Commissioner Poyer,
Here.
President Walk,
Here.
all present.
I'd like to begin with acknowledgement of an executive session on May 18th at 5 o'clock to discuss personnel and litigation. We did not have an executive session tonight. Start with the department head reports. John Snelson, Code Enforcement.
Okay, the HyperReach program, the setup is in progress and progressing well. Jess, the intern, has started working on the properties around the township that are vacant and everything that we want her to do to catalog those. We're preparing for the switchover with the building permits, and we'll be adding some new forms and information to our website in the next few days. We're getting busier with zoning violation and permits, and Greg is pretty much all set to go and get started with Esri and the ArcGIS.
Nice. Those are all really good news on that front. Thank you, guys. I know you've worked really hard the past few weeks to get this all together. It's a lot of work. All those programs are going to really benefit this township in the long run.
And the only other thing I have is just when the motion comes up, I'll go over the properties.
Okay, for demolition.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the commissioners?
None.
Eric Tissue, KLH, engineers report.
A couple things I want to point out in my report. First item is the Elizabeth to McKeesport Force Main project. We did receive the Part 2 permit, which is great. So this will enable us to bid that portion of the project. We'll have the contract documents ready for that purpose by the middle of June. And when we get everything worked out with the regional corporation, then we'll be able to do that. But we are continuing to move forward also with Penvest. To that end, there's a requirement for a second opinion review, of which you received a couple of proposals, and you'll be making a recommendation on the low quote here later this evening. The other thing I wanted to point out tonight is the 2020 road improvement project that we held a bid opening on Thursday, May 14th. You got 9 bids. The apparent low bidder is Tresco Paving, and you'll be acting on that also. A bid recommendation memo and bid tab was attached to the report for your edification. So those are the 2 main items I wanted to point out. If there's any questions on any of my other items or these 2 items.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions for Eric?
No.
Moving on to police, Chief Karestas.
He's not with us tonight.
Is there anyone from police that needs to give us a report? Okay, Paul Twaley, Public Works, please.
Right now we started the temperature checks and symptom checklists every morning for all the guys coming in. The summer help, we got 4 of them waiting for the drug screening results along with their physicals. As soon as they get those in, we'll be able to start them. For month of May, I responded to 101 PA1 calls. And under this year's budget, we rented a sweeper for a month. We used it 23 days. We picked up approximately 320 cubic yards of debris
Wow.
and cleaned 12 catch basins around the municipal building in those 23 days. So it took, that was one day on the catch basins around the building. It was 22 days to sweep the township. Along with the grass, I talked to Bill from the sanitary department. I'm going to borrow one of his brush hogs for a couple of days to get caught up on some of these, the vacant lots. I got a crew working on Burning Tree Drive installing, it's 400 feet of storm sewer, catch basins and under drain for a water runoff issue before the water company paves that street. So that'll be all taken care of before the road gets repaired. And hopefully next week we'll have the summer help and I can get on some asphalt patching and roll curbs and stuff that needs caught up from the rainstorms.
Just one comment from 101 calls. That's great.
Yes.
What?
That's how many come in that I have to look at. Or probably about half of them I had to go out and actually look at, but half of them I could clear just knowing we had nothing to do with it, or we had nothing in that area.
Okay. And these are from residents that are going to be digging.
Residents, utilities, contractors.
Okay.
Quite
Thank you, Paul. Are
time-consuming.
there any other questions for Paul from the commissioners?
Paul, I had a question regarding the Circle Drive property and what the update of that was, please.
Yeah, Eric was out last week, and we went up and looked at that situation, and he was going to check with Joel, see if there's anything on record from the storm sewer project that we had previously done up there. What it is where the township did a storm sewer project before, where we stopped, the pipe is about 20 feet from this property owner's bridge, and now is washing their private bridge out. So we're trying to see whose property, where the property lines are, and if there is any kind of easements or right-of-ways or Eric is working on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this another problem on Circle Drive?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's at the lower end.
To lower end.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Paul? Thank you, Paul. Matt?
I have nothing to report other than the items that we discussed at the May 18th executive session, unless there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Matt?
No.
Thank you, Matt. Sanitary, Veolia Water, Dennis, are you here?
Dennis is not here. I sent over his report for each of you earlier this afternoon, and I don't see Billy in the participant list. So if he's here, I don't know what name he's under, but I don't see him.
Well, I read the report. It was their usual very busy month. Joelle, as office manager, report.
I have the fund balances to report for you guys. The general fund, these are all as of May 31st, 2020. General fund is $1,191,868.49. Liquid fuels, $798,856.28. Township capital reserve, $1,869,200.39. The project fund, $1,173,378.29. Fire levy, $148,055.96. Sanitary capital reserve, $213,870.81. Sanitary General Fund, $2,066,309.35. The Dog Park Fund, $75,184.75. The Demolition Fund, $40,016.34. The only other items that I have for the board to discuss, and it doesn't have to be during the office manager's report, it can be during public comment or however you see fit, is the community center rentals for June. And as you all are aware, we will be back in the office starting on Thursday, still closed to the public, but everybody will be returning to work, and I would probably suggest a personnel meeting be set up to discuss how we're planning on opening up the building to the public.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I just have one, I don't know, I'm hoping you can give us an idea of where we are on tax collection. We had anticipated that this might be a problem. Can you go year over year and see where we are? I know that this has been talked about quite a bit in the budget, and we're trying not to spend any extra money because we anticipate that we're not going to have the revenue that we had last year.
Right, so I don't have my laptop in front of me to go over year by year of where we are. If you want me to grab it, I can. I only have the budget versus actual that I provided you guys with in your packets, which you'll see the current year's collection. We're a little over $1 million, and for the whole year, we're projecting to collect about 2.4.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Joelle?
No.
I'd like to go ahead and move forward with this community center talk right now. I guess we can do this under committee reports, park recreation, however you want to do it. We have folks that are concerned about rentals later on this month. A little background on this. As we all know, Allegheny County has been in yellow for quite a while. Our current policy was to look at this Parks and Recreation, the community center rentals at the beginning of each week, and to decide if the following weekend would be a usable weekend. Now, at this point, the answer to that has been no. I believe that this coming weekend, we do not have any rentals, that those people that did rent for this weekend have changed their dates. As we all know, too, the governor is going to potentially turn Allegheny County green on Friday. There's been some discussion about how we should move forward with community center rentals. To get an overview on that, I'm going to ask Joelle to talk a little bit about a meeting that she had with 23 other township managers last Friday to get an idea of what other townships are currently doing. Not that that makes us decide, but I think we need to know that. Joe, can you just give us a brief comment on what you learned at your managers meeting?
Sure. We all just discussed what every municipality is doing in terms of opening up their parks and recreation facilities. And we talked about everything from outside park pavilions to inside rentals to playgrounds and everything in between, and what they're doing. And a lot of the managers didn't have it too high on their priority list. As you all know, we are dealing with many important things, but we all agree that we want to get the residents back into the facilities that they're paying to rent. It's just, how do we do that? We have to limit the number of patrons per the governor's orders as to how many can be there. It's just in terms of how do we regulate that? How do we enforce that somebody running our facility has under the amount of people that is recommended per the CDC guidelines? Some communities have done a survey to see the needs of the residents. We talked about sports and how communities are moving forward towards that in terms of, allowing these organizations to use the fields, but they're responsible for setting up their own guidelines for how to safely operate, and they have to submit those guidelines to the municipalities. And not that we have any say in it, we just get to see that they are doing what they're supposed to do to keep all of the kids and adults safe while they're utilizing our facilities. Playgrounds, It's a tough one. The CDC and health department are recommending that playgrounds be cleaned every 4 hours and restrooms be cleaned twice a day. I mean, I know what other communities are doing. I have my own ideas on what I think we should do, but it's up to the board on this community center.
This covers a very, very broad topic when we start to go out into the bathrooms along the trail, the rental of porta potties, the cleaning of the jungle gyms at our various recs. Right now, I'd like to confine this just to the community center so that we don't get too far off topic. I'm toying with the idea of just leaving the rest of this alone for now until we can call a better, might even call a special meeting to try to figure that all out. But if we can hash it out tonight, that would be great. Joelle and I talked about this afternoon at length. Our concern is the community center and opening that and making it safe. She has, Joelle has mentioned that we should have
Do we give the residents, when they rent the community center, there's already a packet that they get of the rules and what they must do upon entering and exiting. I think that we should add on to that and let them know their responsibility. I mean, keeping this facility clean is not just the municipality's responsibility. It's every resident. The governor says that we all have to do our part. So if the residents are taking it upon themselves, or non-residents to rent our facilities, I don't see them having an issue if we issue guidelines. Please limit, under 250 people. You're responsible for your own hygiene. Have them wipe down high touch areas before they leave the facility, doorknobs, countertops. I don't know how else to open it other than us cleaning it on our own.
The other thing that came up was, is there any liability from the township's aspect in doing this? And Matt, I don't know if you can make a brief comment about somebody rents the community center and.
Yeah, so I think the liability end is relatively low. I mean, they'd still have to show that we were negligent. You can't plead negligence in Pennsylvania, so doing some sort of release isn't going to really help the situation. Again, the commissioners would just have to really decide whether or not they're willing to take that calculated risk. I mean, there's always a risk, right? I mean, if somebody gets sick, something happens, they're going to look for who to blame. And, I'd be a fool to sit here and say we have no risk at all. But I think something the commissioners just need to weigh based on the numbers that are out there and, what could happen.
All right, I happen to agree with that. We've also now been made to understand that the virus is much less contagious on surfaces than was originally thought. I can't really see how anybody could possibly prove in court that the township facility was the one that passed along COVID-19. I'm going to just ask the board right now what your thoughts on are. I'm in favor of opening this up as soon as the governor declares Allegheny County green. I'm also want everybody to understand that if the governor changes it back to yellow, that the rest of these, there's going to be cancellations again. That could be last minute, but we all know that. So that's how I feel about it. I think we should open up. We don't have anything this weekend, so it would actually be opening for the following weekend, which would be, what's the date? 12th and the 13th, 14th, Friday the 12th. Please give me your comments, commissioners.
As long as Matt feels comfortable from a legal, standpoint, we're pretty good. I'm okay with us opening back up.
I don't have any issue with it.
I just have I have a couple of issues. One, if we need to reconvene a meeting of the park or the recreation committee to look at rules and regulations, which I asked Joelle about, were there policies or guidelines that other communities were working on that we could share? And you're shaking your head, but certainly CDC guidelines or something written down of what the requirements are needs to be identified for these folks that rent. There needs to be some kind of handout or policy document written that we look at and approve before we rent these facilities out, because we need to make certain that people are safe. I'm for opening them up, but I think we need to follow CDC guidelines and follow what the governor's mandate is. But I still think it behooves us not to have our own written guidelines that we distribute. And before we open anything up, I think we need to have that in place.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback off of Commissioner Rocco's comments and just say that, yeah, from a liability standpoint as well, you want to do whatever you can, right? So if they're saying we were negligent, we certainly don't want to say, well, they're going to say, what did you do? And we don't want to say nothing. Putting the policy in place, giving a written handout of what they should be doing, trying to clean it when we can. Those are all things we should be implementing as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're not going to go out there and regulate. I mean, if the edict is that you can't have, you know, I was looking at the Pittsburgh Diocese and they're talking about how many people are going to be able to go to church and what that's going to look like. You know, every other pew, 250 people max. I mean, it's kind of restrictive. My point is, who's going to monitor that? Who's going to be the COVID-19 police at the park, at these community centers? We're not going to do that. So we need to put something in place in a written document that supports that. That's something that needs to occur, whether that comes from.
I agree.
You know, that's something that needs to happen. And again,
I think that gets added to the packet for now. You know, the packet that we give them, we should have a sheet written up. And
sure.
It needs to be added.
Joe,
Right, that's what I had suggested, putting something with them that tells them all of the things that they have to do per the CDC. But in terms of other municipalities developing their own policy, nobody that I talked to had their own policy. They just printed what the CDC had.
Yeah, that's what, Joe, that's what we talked about this afternoon. You're going to put that together.
Yeah.
That's not exactly an easy thing to do, but it can be done quickly. And we had a resident that submitted a question for the non-agenda part of our meeting tonight, and it had actually to do with the use of the community center on the 21st of June. Important that she knows soon, because she has to send out invitations. She has to get things under control. And so that's why I need to know from if we have these. I'm sorry.
Bart, I have to agree with you, and also I think there needs to be a representative that needs to sign off on those rules and regulations that are to be followed. We need some kind of accountability when it comes to someone taking responsibility for policing that themselves.
Rich, I think you're referring to someone in the group renting the community center accountable.
Yes, I mean, if we're going to have a separate set of rules, whether it be the guidelines that are provided to us or whatever, I think someone in that group, whoever rents that facility, needs to sign a sign-off sheet taking responsibility to make sure those guidelines are followed. I mean, or like Bart says, we don't want to be the ones policing that. That has to be someone's accountability that rents that.
Matt, do you have anything that we can use for that?
Not offhand, but I'm sure. I think what Rich is saying is just if we give them a packet of information that contains the CDC, you know, recommendations and what we expect of them, sort of when they fill out their application and give their deposit, have them sign off on that policy, just saying, I acknowledge that I've received, you know, the COVID-19 policy, something like that.
That's what they do for all, like our
Correct.
alcohol waiver,
Correct.
everything. I mean, it would just fall into place with all the documents we already
Yeah, just
have.
when they're coming in, just have them sign it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and you guys all know that it's not going to be us policing it. It's going to be a neighbor calling and saying, hey, I see they have 400 people. And what do? Go and slap them on the wrist? Because that's what's happening with all of these.
Well, part of that has to be a corrective action in case that does happen. That needs to also be in writing. We have to have a corrective action if there is a complaint and they're not following those guidelines. What's the repercussions?
And does the county enforce that, or does the township enforce that?
Falls on local.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're giving them the permission to use it. I mean, basically we can probably put a policy in place that says if you violate, you know, the number of people or the CDC guidelines, then we're going to terminate, we're going to kick you out essentially, right? Because we're the ones letting them use it.
Well, yeah, Joel, I'm sure you've been
I think it
taking
needs to
notes.
be discussed a little further in detail before we make any kind of decisions today.
Oh, there's no real decision made here, Rich. That policy has to be written and reviewed and made right. But again, we're looking to give the residents the heads up that, yes, we're going to open.
Am I allowed to talk? This is Leslie Messina. I'm the one that submitted the question because I have it rented for the 21st of June. I need to know, like everybody's saying, oh, the commissioners. I get what you're saying, but the governor has opened it for June 5th, this Friday. So how fast is this going to turn around? Like I need to know, or I need to move it to my house and rent tents. I have nowhere near 250 people. That's, that would be irresponsible on my part to invite that many people, hoping that nobody gets sick. But I also don't really have the capacity at my home. That's why I went last June and sat in line, and all of the little antics that went on with that. I want an answer. I want to know if it's going to be available to rent on the 21st. I need to know so I can put these invitations together and send them out.
Cal, I'd be okay with the Recreation Committee reviewing CDC guidelines and maybe a waiver form that Matt has and accept what they go with. This kind of speed up time so we don't have to wait for another commissioner meeting. I don't know how
So
you guys
when
feel
will
about that.
it be? Tomorrow, the next day, Monday, Tuesday? Like when can I expect an answer?
Well, hold on a
We're
second.
already in.
Let's talk about it. Cal, what do you think about that?
I think we're talking about two different things here, and I believe that this policy can be put in place very quickly. I've seen the Personnel Committee and Joel work very quickly. This doesn't seem to me to be super involved.
Right, it already exists. The CDC and the health department has it issued. All we have to do is put it on our letterhead and put a place for the resident to sign off.
Exactly. It's personalized. It's just personalizing it. Joel, I'm going to just ask you a pointed question. When can you have that ready?
I can have it done definitely within the next 2 days. It already exists. It's just getting you guys to review it and Matt to review it and make sure it's good to go.
And Matt, do you need to do another disclosure form then also, or are we just going to use the existing disclosures we have?
I would just use the existing because, again, you can't waive negligence anyway. So that's really the issue that it comes down to. So I would just provide the CDC requirements, have a place for them to sign off on it, with the understanding that if they violate those guidelines and we get notified of it and we confirm that they're in violation, we're going to pull their permit and they're going to have to be shut down. I think other than that, it should be covered. So yeah, I don't think we have to go crazy with it. I think it's already pretty much in place.
All right. So,
if we do that, I'm okay moving forward.
Bart, does that sound logical to you?
Again, I have no problem. I'll meet tomorrow. I mean, I'll meet any day they want. But the point is, Kyle, you set up committees to meet, right?
Yep.
You met with Joelle today. I was not notified there was a meeting. I would have had this done today for Mrs. Messina so she could have made a decision. And I asked Joelle last week about this. This was in an email to her last week about developing a plan and a policy because I knew that there were folks out there looking to rent these facilities. Nothing. Okay.
I thought you asked me about returning to work.
It was returning to work and also using facilities, I believe, Joelle.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember that.
That's okay. Well, my point is, I'd be happy to work on that and finalize it. Not a problem. I mean, that could happen. I'd work on it tomorrow. Not a problem.
Well,
Bart, I'm available tomorrow if you want to go over it.
But does it have to be board approved is my question, Matt.
Well, so I'm available tomorrow as well. So if it gets done and you want to send it to me, I'll take a review of it and sign off on it. I would recommend at this point, why don't you just, we can approve it one of two ways.
Yeah, I agree, Matt.
Yeah,
Let's approve it conditional on your approval.
Yeah, either that or we can do a ratification vote, whatever we want to do.
Okay, I'm good with that.
And we didn't meet today. Kyle called me and we had a
Yeah,
simple
we didn't
phone
meet
conversation.
today. I got this email that
I misunderstood because it sounded like you met about it.
No. Leslie Messina sent out an email asking these questions at 9:05 this morning when I received it.
Not a
And
problem.
so
I'm
we
here
went
to
back
help.
and
I'm here to
forth
help.
about
All you have to do is call.
Do you think we get an answer for Leslie by Wednesday then?
I'll work on it. Like I said, if
Well-
you give me the information, I'd be happy to do it.
Again, I think Leslie has her answer right now. This board's in favor of opening and allowing that to happen on the 21st. It's just
As long as we're right.
It's a matter.
Yeah, and hey Kyle, this is Commissioner Roderick. I'm just going to cut to the chase on it. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we reopen the community center based on recommendations and approval by Solicitor Rakunas after the Parks and Recreation Committee forms a policy. So, I mean, with that
Okay,
being
that's
said, I'll
fine.
make that motion that, based on Solicitor Rakunas's approval, then, the residents will know that it'll be open, and they're going to say it's going to take a couple of days. So if we make the motion, and Matt
I'll second
approves
that
it
motion.
next week, then it'll be done.
All right, Joel,
I'll
did you
second
get
that
that motion?
I'll second the motion, pal.
Okay, one second, please. Joel, were you able to write down that motion? Okay, Joel has the motion, Andrew second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, people, on that.
Just so just so that I know, so I don't, fall victim to not doing something I'm supposed to do. Bart and Rich are handling this. I don't have to do anything.
No, you're going to provide the documentation from CDC and the governor under the green guidelines, what we need to put together in the policy. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
If you have that information.
Yeah.
You told me right? I mean, that would be helpful.
I have to look it up every day. I own a business, so
That would be
it's constant.
helpful. That would be helpful.
Great. So Leslie, you have your answer on that. Send your invitations.
Okay, I appreciate that. Joe, are you gonna call me on Wednesday to just confirm?
Say it again.
I can call you.
Okay.
You have my number, or do you need it?
I have it.
You want to dive a little bit deeper into this Parks and Recreation thing. One of the things that came out in this phone conversations with Joel today is that guidelines from CDC state that recreation equipment has to be cleaned every 4 hours. That's impossible. Now, our option there has to do with close it. Close it. How are we going to have those places cleaned every 4 hours? It can't happen. It's impossible.
Kyle, I agree. I totally agree with you. I mean, and I don't think it's going to be like that forever, but until it is, I think, going back to Matt, the onus is on us. If somebody's sitting there with a video camera and the township doesn't go and clean it every 4 hours and something happens, then, I just say keep it closed until those CDC guidelines are lifted.
All right. Should we post closed signs in each of the parks then?
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to close them,
You're
They're not closed right now.
yeah. I mean, the problem is, what are these people going to do if they have a graduation party?
No, I'm talking about Blydell and
Oh, the other,
The playgrounds.
oh, at the
playgrounds.
playgrounds.
yeah, the
Yeah,
playground.
if you're going to close them, just keep them. Yeah, just put closed signs on them, I suppose.
We'll put closed signs up.
I mean, we were in the red and the yellow, and you guys didn't close them, and now we're in the green and we're closing them.
I'm not
As
in favor of
opposed to
closing the park.
Saying, a sign.
You're right. I mean, you're right. It's
Patrons are responsible for their own hygiene.
And they're at own risk. That's what you put at our parks.
Would we be good with that, Matt, or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, you can't waive negligence though. So again, you can do that. You could put use at your own risk, aware, user must be aware of COVID-19 risks involved, whatever that it is. But at the end of the day, if someone's going to say we were negligent, you're not going to get out of it. I mean, again, I think the risk is low. It sounds to me that if we've kept them open up to this point, I don't know why when we go to green, we would go more restrictive.
It'd be stupid.
We should have been more restrictive.
Yeah. Right.
And
Are
less-
we cleaning these playgrounds now?
negative.
And I'd say leave them open.
Well, what do they get changed out once a week or something? Or how often are they getting changed out?
The playground equipment doesn't get cleaned. The
No.
porta-johns aren't in place. The bathrooms get cleaned twice a week. The actual bathrooms along the bike trail. The porta-johns we have not put in place yet.
Okay, so you have how many bathrooms?
Boston, Flagdale, Industry, Draveau.
Are they being cleaned right now? How often?
I'm sorry?
How often are they being cleaned right now?
Twice a week. They have to be cleaned twice a day per the CDC.
It's
Well, those are the bathrooms on the trail. Those are the regional trail bathrooms.
We take care of them.
I know, but we went from playgrounds to regional trail
Yeah.
What is the regional trail? I mean, don't they have guidelines on opening?
I'm assuming they have to follow the same guidelines as the rest of Allegheny County.
I don't know how we got stuck cleaning all of those because we never used to. We shared that with the trail. They cleaned them so often, and there were specific days. I don't know how we got stuck cleaning them all. I know we always cleaned the one up in Blythedale because of the ball field, but the other ones, I don't know. We shared that with the trail.
Is there anything in writing about who cleans those? Or are we just doing
I
it
don't.
for nice?
No, there's nothing, not that I'm aware of, there's nothing in writing. I meet with not Regional Trail, Montauk Trail Council, and they do split the costs. So in the winter, they pay for the cleaning. In the summer, we pay for the cleaning. It's the same company, so the cost is shared. There are two restrooms along the trail that they pay for themselves without us. And then there's one more that's maintained by an outside organization. The name is it's just not in my mind right now.
This twice a day stuff just came in front of me today. This clean the playgrounds every 4 hours. I just found out about this today. I shake my head, here we are going to green and we're finally paying attention to the rules, but I can't know everything.
Well, I mean, how long are we going to leave them closed for, Kyle? The whole summer? When everybody's supposed to be using them?
Well, Governor opens us up on Friday, so I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, we've gone this long,
Yeah, I don't think there is a big deal. I think we should leave them open.
Yeah, Friday they're open anyhow.
Guys, putting a sign up that says we're closed is just merely a way to CYA the Elizabeth Township. That is not going to stop people, those kids in the neighborhood, from swinging on those swings. And again, it's just a liability thing. If we can't follow those rules, if we can't get those jungle gyms cleaned every 4 hours, every day, 7 days a week, and if we can't clean our bathrooms twice a day, every day, 7 days a week, then we have to more or less pretend like they're closed.
We need to order closed
I
signs.
agree, Cal.
Yeah.
I agree, Cal.
I mean, it's a sham, if that's the right word, but CYA. Any further thoughts, Matt?
I don't know. I'll chew on it, but unless we get one of those foggers, they have those.
That's what I was thinking.
Foggers that you could walk by it and just, it would take 5 seconds to just fog it, I guess. But
Well, no, I actually own one of those, and to do one of those jungle gyms, you're talking 15 minutes at least, 15, 20 minutes. And that means we'd have to send one of the DPW guys down there in the morning, afternoon, evening, every 4 hours, guys, every 4 hours. It's light out right now for 17, 18 hours. That would have to be done four times a day.
I understand that we can't waive negligence. I will say that other municipalities that I trust their managers have put those signs up, and they have not been maintained every 4 hours.
What sign did they put up, Joelle? What's it say?
They
It's
put up signs
impossible.
such as "Play at your own risk. Patrons responsible for their own hygiene." Like Matt said, it's not waiving negligence, but it's at least showing that we are doing our part to try and encourage people to stay safe.
yeah, so like that prevents you from getting sued just because somebody gets it, right? Like I got COVID-19 and now I'm going to, I didn't know my risks. But again, being negligent means that you were aware of the
Aware
risk.
of it.
You didn't do something.
Didn't do anything.
Right. So that's the issue. So if we do something to show that we did our best, your liability is minuscule, to be honest with you, if you can take the steps that you should be taking.
So Matt, in your opinion,
It's just interesting to me that during the red phase and the yellow phase, they were all open, at the peak of the coronavirus. And now it's going down and we're going green on Friday, and now we're going to close all of our parks.
we
In the
weren't
middle of summer.
Right.
either.
We're not closing anything. Did anybody out there know what I just said to them about every 4 hours and twice a day for a bathroom? The answer to that is no. Nobody knew that.
Yeah.
We're not.
No.
Matt, if we put up a sign, is it better to put at your own risk or is it better to put closed?
That's a
In
loaded
your opinion.
question. I don't know. I mean, again, you're asking for my opinion. I mean, I'm only the solicitor. I don't make these decisions, right? I mean, I can tell you whether you have liability or whether you don't. I mean, the most conservative thing you can do is close them. You know, if you're willing to take on what I believe to be a small risk, then do the signs. It's just how risk tolerant the board feels, given all the facts that are out there and what's happening with the numbers.
We're opening our community center. I don't see why we wouldn't just follow the same thing that we're doing with our playgrounds. They're already open. We're going to green.
Yeah, but we're following CDC guidelines for the community center, and that's what the problem is. I mean, it's ridiculous that we can't open this stuff up. It really is. I mean, but the other thing is we're under the guides of the CDC guidelines, and they just, like Kyle said, they just threw this in here every 4 hours on the green phase, and to me, that's absolutely ridiculous that you have to do that every 4 hours whenever you're green. I mean, but I think
the community center. Are we going to go over there? Are we going to go over to the community center and clean the bathrooms 3 times during a party?
But we also have a waiver at the community center. We won't have waiver signs at playgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. And
right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I think we got to put some type of sign up. We just need to.
Greg Butler. Hey, Greg, what did Kraft and Ingram do in this scenario? Can you give us an overview there?
We're having our council meeting next Monday. We're going to discuss it. They're currently closed. Our parks are closed.
Okay.
I don't know about Crafton, but Ingram is.
All right.
I mean, not that this is the same comparison, but Bellevue is not opening their pool specifically because of the bathroom cleaning issue. So they're closing their pool this summer because they didn't want to provide somebody up there to go in and clean it how often it's supposed to do it. So it is a problem. It's a problem.
I think these should be closed. I think the simple thing, put closed signs up at the jungle gyms and be done with that. That's over with.
I'd be for that.
Oh.
And Andrew, that's not going to stop anybody.
I just see the irony that, you know, now that the curve is going down.
I get it.
Now that we're going green on Friday, it's the middle of summer, the taxpayers pay for the equipment, and now we're going to close it. And how long are we going to close it for? Do we have a plan?
Week by week, just like we've been doing everything else for the past 3 months.
Andrew, I agree with you to a certain extent, but these guidelines have been changing since this started. It's been a learning process for everybody. So unfortunately, I just feel I agree with Kyle on that. We have to put a close sign up. If people use them, they're going to use them at their own risk. At some point, people have to take responsibility for their own children also.
Why don't you guys, you know, the county opened up all of their outdoor pavilions and their playground equipment has been open. Do you want me to call the park managers and verify that their parks are open, that they don't have anything posted or what they're doing, or do you want to still just move forward?
That would be a great idea, because you really think that the park, that Round Hill's out there cleaning all those jungle gyms every 4 hours? No possibility.
Yeah, but if that's the rules, I think
I agree. I think, Joel, I think whoever you can call, other managers see how they're handling this. I mean, this is a very fluid situation. You know, these things are changing, and I'd be interested to know how other communities are handling it. I mean, like some of the communities that I represent, I will say, are still, parks are still closed. They closed their parks at the beginning, and they're still closed. But that doesn't mean that we can't open them under certain guidelines. I'd be interested to see what other communities are doing.
Well, that also doesn't mean that people aren't using them too.
I mean, like I said, I'm going back to in red and green, we let everybody out, or red and yellow, and now we're on green and we're talking about closing. So we've already not done our part.
I'm just going to sum this up then. Let's, Joe, I'd like you to talk to people tomorrow, knock it around, and then we'll start disseminating this information to the commissioners.
Yeah, I'll call
and
Andy Beckley in the morning.
We'll just stay with it. I don't know what else to do here. This discussion could keep going around in a circle for another hour. All right, we only have we're moving to citizens to address agenda items of which there were no questions submitted this year or this week. We have one submission for non-agenda items, so I would like to go ahead and do that right now.
How are we supposed to set this up? I didn't know that we were supposed to sign something.
So Ted, it was in the legal, posted in the ad on Facebook and on the website that all submissions for the meeting had to be submitted to me via email by noon today.
I didn't even find the agenda until after that. The agenda wasn't placed in the normal agenda place, and I didn't even see it until well after noon, so I didn't know that.
Well, Ted, I can't really make exceptions because you didn't see it. I'm sorry if you have a question that you want to ask.
I have a question, excuse me. Carol Daly. Hey, I called Joelle this afternoon and asked her, what am I supposed to do? Because there was nothing on there that said what to do about a comment, because last time there was nothing on here. And she says, well, you know, you go on the Zoom website, and if you want to make a comment, you just tell them. So
Carol, you asked me about the hearing, not the commissioners meeting.
Oh.
Because for the hearing, nothing was to be submitted in writing because it's a public hearing. We allowed public comment during the hearing. You did not ask me how to submit for the commissioners meeting.
There's nothing there for the commissioners meeting either.
I'm pulling up the post right now because I wrote it. It says all the information about the Zoom meeting, how to join, directions for downloading Zoom, and then at the bottom it says, please note that this broadcast, although public, will not allow for real-time public comment. While members of the community can join the session, they will be unable to interact in real time and instead must submit all questions via email no later than 12 p.m. on Monday, June 1st to my email address.
Okay, when was that posted?
That was posted Friday.
Oh, geez.
So it's the same setup as it was last time.
Kyle, this is Cindy Rojon. I agree with Ted. I clicked everywhere and the agenda would not pop up.
The agenda?
So you couldn't see the agenda.
The agenda was posted on Friday and then it was reposted this morning.
I looked early this morning and I couldn't see the agenda. So there was no way you could submit questions.
Greg, can you confirm you posted the agenda for me twice, please?
I did, once on Friday, once this morning.
And the link would not open it.
I just checked the link and it opens on my computer.
I just
You
checked
might
it
have
on.
done that. I agree with Ted.
I just
Kyle,
checked
it's
mine
up
on
to
my
you.
phone.
Before I hit mute all, it's up to you on how you want to handle this. You're the president.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something new to all of us.
It certainly is.
And you talked about the toilets for, you know, how long, you know?
I get it.
All we get is 3 minutes.
Well, that's the way it is, Carol. You get 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not saying.
So, all right. So I'm gathering from this then that we have 3 people, Ted Grice, Carol Daly, and Cynthia Rojon, that would like to make non-agenda comment.
No, I'd like to make an agenda.
I'm an agenda.
You're an agenda also? Okay. Ted, agenda or non?
It would be agenda.
Okay. Matt, we okay with this? We'll just go ahead and let it go? You have 3 minutes and we're going to start in alphabetical order.
Yeah, that's your call, Kyle. I mean, it was properly noticed to restrict it, but it's up to you.
I know, but you have 3 people here that are very tech savvy. I get the confusion. I'm not going to create any trouble by saying no to this. Carol Daly, you're first. 3 minutes.
All right, this is about the conditional use that you're going to be voting on later on. The problem is that Commissioner Puri did not state specifically what that conditional use was for. And we understand now it's for a senior arcade. We don't know what the term senior is. This law states that the conditional use must be in the best interest of the residents. And has he proven it? No. Has he submitted plans for securities? As I said before, one of them has been robbed in Pennsylvania. The law states that the use must be homogeneous. A family can go into any of the other businesses except this one. It has to be homogeneous. That's what the law states. This one is completely restricted. Who is the vendor? And that's an extremely important question. You have to know who the vendor is. Does the vendor have court cases lodged against it? Who owns the company? Who are the investors? Are any of them convicted felons? Question is, since these are not legal, the court may have said they are, but the law says they are not. Is the chief going to follow the laws and shut them down? The state police say they are against the law. The Liquor Control Board says it's against the law, and they will come and shut them down. I don't know if the township wants to be involved in a very lengthy test court case. There's nothing about safety. Are they going to have armed guards there? Are security cameras? We don't want these places being robbed. One place was already robbed. We don't want any of our police officers getting shot or the robber breaking into a house. Why wasn't there an attorney there? He should have had an attorney there to answer any legal questions. Why wasn't it detailed more? I was upset that the commissioners didn't even ask any information on it.
I agree.
And until the law clarifies that these machines are legal or illegal, the township should not become involved in another test case. It's going to cost us money. If the conditional use, you will vote for it. Peoria has not met the conditions, nor has he presented the case legally. It doesn't benefit the residents at all, and it may lower property values. The law on the township codes and the PA Constitution supersedes the wants of an applicant. The commissioners, you have to vote no on it or vote to set it aside. I'm not against these things, maybe on Route 51, but this is not a place to have it. It does not, you can't walk into it with a bunch of kids. You can go into the pizza parlor, the bank, the restaurants, the dog grooming, but you can't go into this. It is not homogenized and you will lose the case just on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Ted Grace.
I was just on the conditional use hearing part. I was wondering about conditions, since it is conditional use, about it. So like you were talking about, corrective action would be in place for the rec center if too many people showed up. But here we are with the limited parking area of where this is located, of what happens on controlling how many people can be in this facility, how long the hours of operations are, to what place and so forth, and what kind of conditions are you going to put forth on it? That was my question about that. If you're going to go forward with it, I'm wondering what the conditions are. The second item that I have is the Code Appeals Board that is listed underneath of item number 8. Was that discussed beforehand? Did I miss a meeting about that, or it just all of a sudden hit tonight? I saw it. I didn't see.
Okay, I'm going to pause you 3 minutes and let John answer that question for you.
Thank you.
John, can you give him an overview of what the appeals board is all about, please?
I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm having a little bit of a connection issue here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to, I just got back in here.
So Mr. Grice is asking about the appeals board that's to be set up. And would you give him the overview on what it has to be, what that's about and why it has to be done?
Yeah, that is for ordinance we passed in March for another process for us to use in issuing handling violations for property maintenance codes and township ordinances by issuing township tickets. And part of the ordinance gives the person the right to appeal to a board set up to handle such appeals by the township.
Okay, Ted.
Yep.
2 minutes. Any
I
other
appreciate
questions?
it. Yeah, if you don't mind. Item 11, the comprehensive plan going to environmental planning and design. What are the next steps on that one? If you could, when you get to that, if you could please go on
yeah.
with that.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll go, we'll talk about that for sure.
Thank you. And the last question I had is, I guess, sort of a non-agenda item in the Mine Water Acid Reclamation Committee that was formed several months back. I was wondering if there's any updates or progress of where they are throughout that whole procedure.
Rob, do you have any information on that?
I do. I mean, basically, where we were at is we were waiting for the Growing Greener grant. They were opening up the last week of March to see where we were at on that. And with COVID, everything kind of went to the wayside. And as far as, meetings and coordination and everything like that, there hasn't really been anything until, hopefully they open the Growing Greener grant back up, then, we're in that. But I don't know what the state's going to do because the state's budget has been severely affected with the money. And I don't know if there's going to be money to do that this year. So there's talk that the Growing Greener grant may not be there. They may repurpose that money back into the state budget. Who knows? I mean, so it's really up in the air at this point because it's, it is an expensive project, but until they know the direction that they're going to go money wise, and because we do have an application in for that grant. Until we know where we're at on that, it's kind of like going nowhere right now.
That's a very, 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 very loaded question, Ted, as you may know. It's, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been talking about for a while that I would really love to see that, cleaned up. And so I just wanted to.
Oh, man. Yeah. Everybody.
Hey, Ted, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to see it happen. I mean,
awesome.
there's a lot of people working hard on it too. So
there's a lot of people working on this, and there's a lot of good angles but it's just going to take some time. That almost pulled the trigger on that, but USX backed out of the deal to donate that property to the township so we could start. Just wait it out. Cynthia Rojon.
Hey, Kyle, Ted kind of stole my thunder a little bit, so I'll kind of make this a little brief. My first question has to do with the comprehensive plan. Was the committee disbanded, or once the actual
yes.
or the actual plan, once it is written and accepted, then are the residents going to be able to apply for different committees?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk about that when we get to that point here. In the discussion of that motion, I intend to jump up and down, scream and yell, yay, yay, yay. We finally pulled the trigger. I'll give you an overview of how that went. We had the 7 commissioners and all of the department heads. There were 12 people involved that interviewed the 6 planning companies that sent in requests for proposals. After doing these interviews over a course of 3 weeks, it was amazing as I went back and asked each and every person what their rankings were of these companies. The one that we finally picked was number 1 with every one of these people. And I didn't give them any of my thoughts before I asked them. Number 1. And so I feel really strongly that we picked the right company. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but what I envision with the 23 people that signed up originally to become part of the planning committee is that they will be asked to become in subcommittees. Now, the actual setup of this whole deal is going to be under the auspices of Dr. Rocco. He's agreed.
Just let me add something, Kyle. The organization that we're recommending to be approved this evening will basically be in charge of, setting up the committees, organizing the meetings around what I would call human-centered design activities to sort of formulate a plan. So, and that's part of their charge in the way they work. So, again, there will be input from the community. That's critical to the success of the plan.
So then this is really going to be a real comprehensive plan, not a fudged one, correct?
No, this is,
Okay.
this is a real deal. Yay!
Okay, yay. All right, my second question comment has to do with the conditional use. I was on that meeting, at 6 o'clock. It was never identified what these machines are that are going in there. Are they games? Are they slots? Are they poker machines? And my other real issue with all of this is that was initially asked for back in January, applied for, in January. I'm not so sure why it came to being this evening because we don't have an ordinance. So there were times in between that an ordinance could be written so that we could qualify what's going on there. But we were never told what this business really is going to be, and that is a real issue if you're dealing with poker, slots, any of those machines, that the community is not made aware of what's going in that building.
And just for point of clarification, once the application's submitted, you can't backtrack and put an ordinance in place. You have to know that it's coming and have it in place. So that was not an
I
option.
understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify something, Cindy. Yeah, and the other thing, the reason that it went on this timeline was because it had to go and get advertised and then be presented to the Planning Commission before it came here, and then COVID sort of hit, so it got delayed because of that. That's why it
Right. I understand that, but I guess really the issue is when the resolution was voted on back when about casinos and gambling and all of that, we did not write an ordinance, correct?
That was a mini casino. This is not considered gambling or mini casino. This
I
actually.
understand that. But why wasn't an ordinance written at that time that would have helped with this whole situation?
Well, that resolution was regarding gambling. That was regarding casinos. I mean, operation of mini casinos. So we do not allow that. Okay.
I understand.
Well, okay.
But what is into this building, because machines were the what word was used.
Matt, would this,
I'm going to interrupt right now. I too was not understanding what this was all about, but Pennsylvania skill games, PA skill games. And if you have another computer nearby, look it up. You can get a real brief description of it. It's currently not considered a gambling device because it is a game of skill. It has been judged by courts in the state to be legal. It is. Look it up. I
did
an hour today. Read all about it.
Kyle, if I could just chime in here for a second, and Matt, you may agree with this. The use is simply just classifying the use that it falls under our zoning as like an amusement arcade. It just meets that, not the type of machine in the building. It's just the use itself in a very general term. Would that be correct, Matt?
Exactly. So it's already provided in our zoning. That's why it's before us as a conditional use. It's already laid out as indoor recreational use, commercial indoor recreation in that zoning district. So it's allowed, it was contemplated and is allowed under our current zoning ordinance as a conditional use. So it went through that process. Certainly if you wanted to change that, that would have had to have been done prior to this application, but it was contemplated and is in our current zoning.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, and Kyle, just so you know, I did do my research this afternoon, and I agree with Carol. There's no law set up on the state. That's not our fault, but nobody's still saying what's going into that building, and that's not good for the community.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia.
No problem. Hey, by the way, I'll send you a text. We had some very good situations happen with my dad. I'll send you a text later.
Thank you. All right, so that closes it out for agenda items. I'd like to move to the non-agenda item submitted by Jessica Boyd, 437 Cedar Drive. This has to do with grass cutting, and I'm going to address this pretty much myself, but I'm going to ask a couple people to jump in here along the way. Jessica has submitted 5 bullet points, which break down into close to 15 different questions. The first bullet point, why have the empty lots in Fox Run not been cut yet? Jessica, 2 reasons for that. First of all, the board made a decision earlier in the year that we were not going to spend an inordinate amount of money on outside contracting for grass cutting. We were going to ask the DPW with their crew, and then along with the 4 young men that are going to come in as help this summer to take care of all the cutting so that we didn't have to pay the amount of money that we did last year. That amount of money was, it was in the $80,000 range. So that's the first reason it hasn't been cut yet. Now, the second reason, which is actually more important, is that during the COVID-19 situation, we had to divide the road crew up into crews of 2 working each day, same 2 together, so that there was no possibility there'd be any cross-contamination, that the whole road crew wouldn't get COVID-19 and that we wouldn't have a road crew. So they were working 1 day a week, and then they were on call for 4 days. And this went on for 6-7 weeks, and so obviously everything got way behind. So why have the empty lots not been cut yet? Boards decided not to pay for the outside contracting, and we didn't have the manpower. Still along with bullet point number 1. They have been over the stated ordinance length for quite some time. This is the worst they have ever been. I drove through there yesterday afternoon. Interestingly enough, many of the lots in Fox Run that are sitting between 2 nice houses, the people that live there have been cutting them. They look pretty good. The only ones that weren't cut that I could see, there were a couple that weren't cut between houses, but mostly they were, was down at the very bottom. Very bottom, there are quite a few lots down there. And of course, they're not cut, but they're also surrounded by hillsides that are semi-wooded, weeds, and the whole 9 yards. So moving to bullet point number 2, is the expectation that the residents of Fox Run will have to call the commissioners daily until this is taken care of? A direct answer to that is no. And will we have to continually call throughout the summer? A direct answer to that is no. Bullet point number 3, are the empty Fox Run lots for sale? The answer is yes. And if somebody wanted to purchase the lots, would they have to pay the liens on the property? Absolutely, the answer is yes, and that has happened. Bullet point number 4, why was another piece of machinery placed in the empty lots in Upper Fox Run, and how is this allowed? This man owns the property. He had an old piece of equipment down there that had finally decided to take out. He needed an excavator to do this. He has left the excavator there. We don't like it. Not much we can do about it. It is his property. It is his development. There is broken glass, and I'm sorry, this leftover machinery in Lower Fox Run is rusted, and there is broken glass everywhere. This is a safety hazard that is not being addressed, and that has been complained about for years. All the commissioners understand that. Code enforcement understands this, but recognize, Jessica, that this is a development. It is not finished yet. As far as it being a safety hazard, it's only a safety hazard if somebody wanders in there and decides to climb around on his machine. Bullet point number 5. What is being done about the owner of the empty lots who refuses to manage and take care of these lots? John, I'm going to let you address that because this is a really difficult situation with Mr. Jack Cargnoni. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, we've tried at least back to the last several years to get him to maintain the lots. It's gotten to the point that the township just had to take care of it, maintain the lots. We've gone through numerous correspondence, phone calls. We had somebody there that was supposedly trying to help us. That person has left the company. We ended up having to have our grass cutter cut the lots. We've been leaning the lots. I've sent them a new letter this year stating, you know, you have failed to cut the lot, maintain your property since 2018. Since that time, the township's been maintaining them. Township will continue to maintain them and place liens on the property unless you step up and maintain your own property. And, once we lien them, if a property sells, they'll have to pay off those liens.
So thank you, John. That answers the first question in bullet point number 5, and this is the second half, but it's already been answered. And does the township intend to pursue any type of action against him? Of course we have. Last part of bullet point 5, and how is this fair to those residents who take care of their yards and have to deal with spreading weeds, ticks, snakes, and that are coming from these lots? Look, we don't like it any more than you do, but we can't afford to be spending all kind of money cutting these lots all over the place. As far as weeds, ticks, and snakes, there's hillsides and plants and grass and shrubs and trees. They're all over the place. This is what you face when you live in the country. So cutting vacant lots has nothing to do with ticks, snakes, and weeds as far as I'm concerned. The DPW is trying to get out there to knock these things down, but they will not be kept at the nice trim level that you've seen before, primarily because we are not going to be able to spend that kind of money. Any other comments on that?
Yeah, Cal, I'd like to make a comment. I live in Fox Run myself. This situation this year is a little different. The fact that we're only having 2 guys on the road crew a day working, obviously we're behind on some stuff. Then we had to send notifications out to the property owner, which again, this is private property, not township owned property, which we just did last week. We had to wait till it got so high. And then now it's on the schedule with Paul's group to be cut now. So it's just it's an unfortunate situation, but this COVID-19 set us behind. And again, we got to remember, this is private property. This isn't township owned property.
Thank you, Ken. Any other comments?
This is Leslie Messina again. Yeah, I submitted a question about the empty lots too. So I guess our question is, we pay a lot in taxes, and you can't expect, my husband has been cutting that beautiful lot that you drove past, and you're saying, oh, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good because he cut it. Why is it expected that he cuts it so my children can stay safe? I just, with all the taxes we pay, I just kind of a little
Huh? Yeah. Kyle, I'd like to make another comment. We recently enacted Act 90, and John was going to get with Matt to see if we can use that to possibly go after the developers' other properties to pay for this, because in the past, we were just leaning that specific property that we were cutting each time. So we're going to look into Act 90 and see if we can maybe get a little more aggressive with them as far as the liens.
Hey, Kyle, can I make a comment? This is Mike Giuliano. Oops. Hey, real quick. So the only thing that I'm concerned, and of course we know that I was the one cutting them. I was told that we stopped just because of COVID-19. So I only have workman's comp insurance because of this township, which I paid all of my bills for this township. And it doesn't sound like there's any intentions or plans are going back. And I don't understand how people are paying for these employees, these township employees, to do road work, but yet you just said we're putting them on people's personal properties. And how are we accounting for the liens that we're putting on people's personal properties when we're using township employees that are already being paid by township? So it's almost like double dipping the system. I mean, I think there's some liability involved. Nobody has come to me yet and said, hey, Mike, can we look at reducing costs? Hey, Mike, can we look at cutting every 2 weeks? Hey, Mike, can you give us a discount? I would be more than happy to keep these lots the same way I did, but no one has taken that time to talk to me or given an opportunity. I have, and I know they probably don't say anything to you, Paul, but I've had 10 of your guys say they hate cutting grass already. And I'm just saying that. So I don't mind doing it, but no one has come to me and said, hey, Mike, we might be having problems. Kyle, I had this conversation with you. All I was told was, we just put you on hold. I paid my workman's comp because I was told I was just put on hold. And now it doesn't sound like there's any intentions on going back. And I don't appreciate it. I'd like to just eventually know what's going on here, because again, I can keep them clean even if we do them every 2 weeks. You wouldn't be that. Everybody needs to understand the reason it was 80,000 is because we're cutting whole housing plans. We went from me starting with 40 lots where people were paying maybe 25 or 30,000 to getting whole entire housing plans and more properties, and they needed cut once a week. I didn't make those. I was picked by the township. I didn't make those fee schedules. They picked me,
Mike,
told me when to cut.
I'm sorry. I'm going to cut in here right now. Mike, are you my guy? Are you my grass cutting guy?
Hey, Kyle, I think you need to get a little bit of order here. Cal, I think
I'm done anyway. Sorry,
Because
Matt.
you understand, Mike.
Yeah, hold
I
on,
just-
Mike, hold on.
You are.
Yeah, this can't get it to turn into a free-for-all. So we're gonna mute everybody except the commissioners right now. Kyle, just handle, you know what I'm saying? Let's move, let's keep it moving.
Kyle, you're muted.
Kyle.
Yes. Yes. Okay, am I back now?
Yeah, you're back. I think the commissioners, you were responding to that public comment about the grass cutting, and it sort of got a little crazy because everyone's.
I kind of figured this was going to happen, but we had to talk about it because that was the non-agenda item. Well, what committee's going to have to get together and figure this out?
For the grass cutting?
Yeah.
That would be code enforcement and business
Okay.
inspections.
Let's see if you guys can schedule a meeting for that ASAP and start working out a plan for this as soon as possible.
And then I think if Mike wants to submit something to the township, send an email to Joel or call or, whatever you want to do to participate in that. Okay. We'll do it through committee though.
Yeah, it has to be done through committee.
Kyle, I don't have any issue meeting with Mike at our next committee meeting to go over this.
Yeah, I offered before, so I'm available whenever you guys want.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Let's move on to items for discussion. First is the salt shed. Just an overview. Township uses approximately 3,000 tons of salt per year. It's currently being purchased through a joint purchasing agreement through South Hills Area Council of Governments. Round numbers, $80 a ton. So $240,000 worth of salt is sitting in a shed that doesn't have a roof on it right now. It's all kinds of broken down stuff. Paul was kind enough with help of John Castine to put together some plans to rebuild a salt shed. The commissioners have all had some time to look at this. It's going to be built on site behind the municipal building using a cut into the back hillside. DPW will do the excavating. They will pour the footers. They will pour the base for the concrete floor that the company will use. So this is in the early discussion matters, but we need to have this done. We are not protecting a large investment in salt. And not only is the salt deteriorating, but the building rafters are falling into the salt, which obviously gets shoveled into the spreader boxes and breaks the spreader boxes and everything else. This is a huge problem. Eric, I'm going to ask you to look into the bond that was taken out by the township for purpose of paying for this salt shed. I've been told that years ago, a bond was taken out to purchase a community center, and attached to that was the ability to pay for a salt shed. I don't know anything further about that, so I don't even know how to send you in the right place. Rob, maybe you could help Eric along with that.
Yeah, it actually wasn't taken out to purchase the community center. It was taken out way before that, and I know.
Oh, it was? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know the auditor would be greatly appreciative if we used the bond for something because.
Joanne, can you give us any information on when that bond was taken out?
It's been a long time. We're in violation.
Yep.
Well, we might be in violation, but we still have to find out when. So, anybody have any ideas on how to find that out?
Yeah, just call BNY Mellon and get the scope of the bond. I mean, that's all. And
The bond paperwork It's probably in the office. The date
It
would
should,
be on
it
it.
should be. It should be with the scope
Yeah.
on it. It should be there, so,
Okay, so that begins with Joel then?
yes.
Yeah.
All right. Paul, you want to tell us a little bit about the project that you and John worked up on?
Yeah, it's one of the first things that I was asked to do when I come into the position was to start thinking about and exploring possibilities for a salt shed, size-wise, location, and all the stuff. This project started back in 2007. As everybody, everything that I'd emailed everybody was like pretty much the beginnings of the project. Then it was revisited again in 2012, 13. Now we're looking at it again, but it's just a lot of it's the location. You're trying to make it aesthetics. Because some of the ideas that come up before it's not going to work with location of the bin. So everything I sent to everybody, is everything we have on file and all the plans. We come up, John and I went out to different salt bins, different townships, municipalities, looking at the different types, cost-wise, durability, and what we presented is what we thought was the best, for construction-wise, durability, and of course, with the amount of salt that we're trying to, not that we, how do I want to put it, is we're having trouble sometimes getting the salt during the year. So what our thought was is to get our whole order and have it on stock, or have enough that if it takes us 2 weeks to get salt, we have enough stockpiled to get through 2 weeks without, because right now we go, if it takes us a week to get salt, we're down to maybe 500 ton. We can go through 500 ton in 3 days, depending on the weather. So that, what the size of the bin is almost double what we're holding right now.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions of Paul? Later on, we have a motion to go ahead and begin this process.
Is there an estimated cost on this, Kyle? What this would cost?
So that's really why we're unsure of how to go about this. The company that Paul has recommended is proprietary. It has they do the installation of the poured concrete floor, the precast concrete walls, and the installation of the roof, and it is a fabric roof. Comes with stamped engineering design, the whole bit. It's in the $240,000 range. I don't know since it's proprietary that we would be able to put this out for bid. Paul, do you know? I mean,
Yeah, it can be bid. I mean, it's going to have to be bid. But what they sent us, the 240 range was for budgetary, and that's, again, I was just, I'm not sure how to go about this, because this is way beyond what I'm used to doing. And like I said, we were just looking at the different types, because there's, if you look it up, there's so many different manufacturers, different constructions. The ones that we looked at, these ones seemed like all the points were the way the, you know, manufacturer. But, you know, this is our ideas, but, you know.
Matt, can you give us some idea of how to move forward with this at this point?
Honestly, I think that Eric may need to be involved. I mean, I don't know what this proprietary thing is, to be honest with you. I mean, Paul can give me more information on it. You know, depending on how specific it is, it could be outside the bidding requirements. I mean, you may not have to bid it if it's like a specialized thing that there's only one of. You know, if it's something like that, you would be outside the scope of the bid. I mean, I think you have to look. I'm not speaking as the commissioner. I'm speaking as a resident now. That's a lot of money, because I know that we had originally talked about, I thought around 70,000, between 70 and 100. I thought.
No.
Well, I mean, now it's, you know, 250. It's a big nut. But I think the commissioners need to get more information on whatever that proprietary use thing is.
Well, again, to reiterate, we have it sitting in a bond for all these years and never spent it. It's actually nothing's gonna come out of the budget. It's coming out of a bond. That's all that we're already paying on. Eric,
What type
any
of
thoughts?
work is on the roof?
We can certainly, we can assist, Paul, we can assist in putting any sort of bid specifications together. And I can talk to Paul about, I don't know if who you're talking to is a supplier, if it's a contractor who erects the building.
Well, I think that place is both. I think they're the supplier and the contractor.
Okay. So I mean,
right, Paul?
Get that, but we can certainly help put together a set of specifications. To put
Yeah,
out.
the salesman I talked to said, you know, that they can help us any way they want, how we want, you know, as putting, you know, for bid, you know.
Okay.
It might be writing the specifications around the equipment that, or the building that they
Yeah,
he
said about that too. It's, you know, he can give us the specifications, you know, but he says, you know, we can open the specs up for, you know, multiple bidders. You know, it's all how we want to proceed with it. And that's where that's where I'm at. You know, I threw the ball into the next court to, you know, to carry it, because, you know, it's out of my, you know, because I don't know where the engineer has to come in and stuff like that. So,
might be a good idea for me just to sit down with Paul and go over everything, decide how much can be done internally and how much we need to assist. And we can talk to Matt about the proprietary nature of the.
That would be extremely helpful, Eric. You and Paul start working on that.
Yeah, that's where I'm, like I said, that's why I wanted to present it to everybody. This is what we found. You know, then, you know, we're going to have to move to the next step and getting, the commissioners and the engineer, all that involved in it now. You know, just, we've done our research now. We can see what route we want to go.
And Paul, that's just the building. How much do you think it'll be for site prep?
Very, very minimal. Yeah, it's just, you know, there's some excavation, and we have to put a crushed base in. That's all. You know, the construction that we looked at, it's very simple. It's not a complex. Now that bid was the concrete floor. You know, they pin, you know, everything's all part of the walls and floor are all put together, you know, for part of the stability, strength.
Eric, I know you're really tied up with making sure Act 537 is on track, but this has been a priority of Kyle's and the rest of the board for a while, because it's going to be winter before we know it, and we have already paid KLH at least twice to help us with this project. So I'm just going to throw that out there. So make sure that
I don't want to repeat work that's already been done. So that's
right. I really want you to work with us and get this done quickly for Paul, for the board to move forward if they want to.
Okay.
Without raking in the dough again.
Got it.
And Eric, is that canvas?
Yeah, on the one that we're looking at right now is a canvas. It's a heavy.
What type of warranty on that canvas roof?
That's the one that we looked at. It right now is 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments on the salt shed? I want to move on. We already talked about, next on the list is community center, but I think we've already talked about that at length, so we can move on to the next, which is Pliget and where we are with them.
Yeah, Joelle's in the process of setting up a Zoom call with the people over at Pliget.
I emailed her today, Dan, just so you know. I forwarded her the document that you asked me to forward. She said absolutely, and now we're just looking at some dates, and she has suggested another individual from Pliget that should sit in on this call as well.
Okay, what we're going to do, just so everyone knows, we're going to go through each account we currently have, because there's with the COVID-19, it's impacted a lot of rates. So we're going to see with our current company, you know, what's locked into a higher fixed rate currently, and we'll probably just keep that there. See what the new rates are on the other funds. There may be variable rate now that have already, you know, exceeded their term, and figure out what makes sense to switch over now and what makes sense to switch over later. So we're literally gonna go through each one to make sure we're doing the right thing for the township to make sure we get the maximum yield for each account.
There's a really good article I'm going to send you guys when I get into the office on Thursday that I got, and it's titled Strategies for Navigating a Declining Interest Environment, and it specifically notes Pliget, and I think that the Finance Committee should definitely take a peek at it. It's exactly what we're doing right now.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's heading in the right direction. Any of the commissioners have any other items for discussion? Any other of the department heads have any other items for discussion? Okay. Items for consideration. Asking for a motion to approve commissioners' minutes dated May 4th, 2020.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion? No. Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion to approve the general fund bill warrant dated June 1, 2020 in the amount of $367,718.90.
Motion.
So moved.
Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion to approve the sanitary fund bill warrant dated June 1, 2020 in the amount of $172,462.18.
So moved.
Second.
Who was the first one?
Roderick.
Sorry, something's beeping.
Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion to approve sanitary bond rec number 74 in the amount of $82,259.89.
So moved.
Second.
Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes.
All in favor?
Motion to promote Officer Arthur Brunazzi from Class E to Class D Patrolman effective June 3, 2020.
So moved.
Approve that motion. Second.
Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to award the 2020 paving program contract number 2020-01 to Tresco Paving Corporation in the amount of $445,499.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion?
Just clarification, they were the low bidder, correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Any other questions on the motion? Roll call.
Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to donate $300 to Buena Vista Ladies Auxiliary to defray the cost of their annual Memorial Day service.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
You have to do roll call, it's money.
Oh, it's money, that's right. Sorry about that. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to advertise to accept letters of interest for the Code Appeals Board.
So
So-
moved.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve payment in the amount of $26,450 for contract 2019-03 demolition of structures to the Betters Company out of capital expense.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
This is not really discussion. It's just like holy mackerel. And so we got two structures here that got demolished, and now it's 13,000 apiece. This is we got a lot of structures that need to come down. We got to get a better way. All right, roll
That
call.
guy from Glassport used to be the cheapest for us. Did he know that we were doing this? I forget the company.
We did this out
His
last
com-
year. Betters was the low bidder, so we were all aware of what it was going to cost us to do
Oh,
this.
this was bid properly. Everything's done properly. It's just that's what it
Okay, I
costs.
just didn't know if he was aware of it. All right, I'm fine with it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to authorize expenditure of $9,500 for the Circle Drive remediation.
So moved.
I'll second. Questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to award Elizabeth Township Comprehensive Plan to Environmental Planning and Design.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? I just want to thank everybody in that effort. That went extremely well. I'm so excited about all this, and I know y'all are too. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Thank you again. Motion to approve Little Library request.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to approve quote from A&H Equipment in the amount of $2,038.45 for a light install and 50-hour service on sanitary flusher truck. Comes out of sanitary general fund expense.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Walk,
Yes.
all in favor.
Motion to approve, deny the conditional use application from Elizabeth Township Self-Storage for commercial indoor recreation at 605 Scenery Drive.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Question on the motion. Roll call.
Rocco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
I think it should be tabled due to the questions that some of the residents have. I'm not opposed. I just think that, we should do a little more homework.
You got to vote.
Matt, can I abstain?
No, Joanne, you don't have a good basis for abstention. You can vote yes,
Why?
no, or you can.
I want more information.
Or you can make a motion to table. You can try and do that and see if that gets a second.
Well, I'll make the motion to table.
We're in the middle of a motion at this point.
That's how that works, Kyle. That's okay.
She can do
Oh,
that.
is it? Okay.
She can
Is
do
it okay
that.
to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Joanne. I didn't know you could do that. So this is a motion within the motion?
Yep.
Okay. State your motion again, Joanne, please.
I'm making a motion to table.
Okay, if there's no second, then that motion fails. Okay, no, there's no second. Is anyone going to second it? If not, move on, Cal. Now you can go back to the original, finish the roll, or she has to vote then, Joelle. She has to vote.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
No.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
You there, Rob? Rob, you there?
Is he on?
I think the screen is frozen there. To me.
I think we might have lost him.
Yeah, I don't even see him on here.
No.
I see the screen's frozen. I still see him.
Here, hold on, he's coming back.
Okay, good.
He's back.
1 second. It just says joining. Commissioner Roderick, are you here? Rob,
Yeah. So, phone me off. I vote yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Abstain.
President Walk.
Yes.
5-0,
Motion-
motion carried.
Item 15, motion to direct solicitor to start condemnation proceedings on the properties presented by code enforcement for demolition. Before we entertain this, John, are you prepared to list these properties at this time?
Yes. Commissioners have the list that I had sent prior. There are 2 additional ones to that, but I will go over them all right now, just by address and lot and block. It's 1303 Virginia Avenue, parcel 652-B-61. And then there's 2076 Smithdale Road, parcel 1732-S-241. There's 2060 Smithdale Road, parcel 1732-S-255. Then 6702 Smithfield Street, parcel 553-N-126. And then there's 1646 Beachview Avenue, parcel 1413-N-360. 1630 Main Street, parcel 1413-N-364. 413 Elizabeth Avenue, parcel 1132-G-126. 737 Elway Avenue, parcel 1266-L-56. 1402 Virginia Avenue, parcel 553-P-82. 2079 Smithdale Road, parcel 1732-S-337. 1925 Offshore Drive, parcel 1569-D-321. And 1941 Offshore Drive, parcel 1569-D-333. And I will say there was a change on the Elway address. I was back down there today and did take a look at it, and more of the porch has collapsed and caused some damage to the front foundation wall.
John, can I ask a question? So 737 Elway, we bid that out when we bid the demo to the Betters Company. Is that the one that he was told to hold off on and now we're?
No, that one was pulled. The owner was given an extension during the condemnation procedures. The one that was on hold is due to an appeal on Blydale Road.
So he knows not to tear down 737 Elway, correct?
It's not on the current contract.
Yeah, the one that's under appeal, make sure that we're not doing anything.
I did tell him that. I believe that was 1975 Blydale Road.
Okay, there's that one. I pulled the legal ad that was ran for when we bid out this program that the Betters Company is working on, and 737 Elway was in that legal ad.
Yeah, and that was originally pulled after the condemnation, I believe, because the commissioners gave an extension. I'll double check on that, but yeah.
Is there anything we
That's
have
the
to
one
do
with
on that?
the roof, right, John?
Sorry?
That was the one with the roof. The guy came and said he was going to fix the roof, and then he didn't.
No, that's the one with the porch that collapsed.
Oh, the porch. I'm sorry. Okay. All
Yes.
Matt, do
We
we
still
need
have to pay fees if we redid this once.
Matt, do we need to notify Betters about that other property just to make sure he doesn't tear it down?
Oh yeah, we should do everything we can. That's under appeal, so we cannot tear that down. So John, just have
I
that.
talked to him 3
Yeah,
times about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been in contact with him on that one because he did put a piece of equipment by it a couple months ago, and I told him that's not it. He has 3 others right in that area to do.
And since we're on the subject, we did get approval that we will receive the CD Year 46 grant for demolitions. It's around $57,000. So we're working with Eric Tissue and John to get that all worked out and send the acceptance letter to our COG, letting them know that we will accept that grant and move forward.
Great job.
Yeah.
On
And on the grant, I'm going to be getting with Eric and changing some of the properties that were originally applied for the grant funding are the properties that are actually on our current demolition contract. So we'll be updating some of the grant paperwork.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? The only discussion I would have on this is that John and Greg have developed this list from the worst to the least. And so these are the worst properties. As you heard, there were quite a few. The intern that's coming in will, no doubt over the course of the summer, we'll be developing quite a longer list. There's about 80 on the list. 80. It's crazy. $13,000 a piece. Crazy numbers. We got to do as much as we can to get this done. Any other comment, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
He's off again.
He's listed as muted on my end here.
I don't see him on my end.
Yeah, I don't see him either.
Don't see him.
I just put lost audio, Matt.
Yeah, just make a note in the minutes that he lost audio.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes. Motion to authorize Public Works Foreman to move forward with the salt shed project.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to ratify approval of acceptance of cost proposal from NTEC Engineering in the amount of $8,200 for the second opinion review on the Act 537 plan.
So moved.
I'll second. Just a brief acknowledgement to the public, because we're pursuing Penvest funding for the 537 Force Main project. It requires a second opinion. We sent out a request for proposal. We received two proposals, one for $35,000, one for $8,200, time and materials. That's what this is all about. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rocco?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick, are you here? Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Walk?
Yes.
That's the one.
Motion to ratify the approval of Public Works summer hours to 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. effective May 25th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Do any of the commissioners have anything else that they would like to talk about? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second. Thank you,
Second.
guys. It was a long one. We got through a lot. Tough one. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Night, night.
See ya.
See ya.
See y'all.